the King of Kings.
Welcome to the King's Couch. We're back. I know it's been a minute, but I have a very special guest today. An old friend of mine. I've known Susan Brill here for about, 25 years, something like that. So let's all welcome Susan to the show. I don't know how many podcasts you've done, but it'd be pretty cool if this was the first one ever for you.
It's my second.
Second, well, good enough. But yeah, I wanted to bring her on the show today because she's done something that not many people on this planet have ever done. She has conquered all 7 continents for marathon running. So she's going to tell us a lot more about that. Before we get into that, let's start from the beginning. We met through the music scene here in San Diego.
Yeah.
Susan is friends with a lot of bands. I used to run a club called Brick by Brick, and that's how I met her. Randomly, I think, maybe even before I started there.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we met at the Brick.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Brick by Brick.
Yeah.
And, we developed a friendship over the years. I love it when I run into Susan, and she's excited to see me. She just bolts out, my last name, King.
The King.
And it's something that, always makes me really happy when I see you and you do that. And I'm glad after all this time that we're still here and I can have you on the show because what you've done with your career in marathon running, you took a hobby and you made it a whole part of your life.
Yeah.
And it's so inspirational. And I hope that anyone that listens to this that is into running or just looking for any kind of general motivation, life inspiration can get some from hearing her story about this.
I hope.
So, Susan, are you originally from San Diego? Oh.
No, I'm originally from Cleveland, Ohio. So, and I moved out to San Diego in 2002, sorry.
Okay. And what brought you out here?
Just the weather, change of life, just to see what's going on. It's a little bit different from Ohio. The weather's a lot nicer. Got the ocean, beaches, right. Sunsets.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of like an open-ended question or a trick question. Oh, are you serious? The weather, of course. San Diego really is America's finest city.
It is.
So the only ones that talk shit are the Republicans.
Oh, God.
But we're not going to go there because I'm neutral when it comes to politics. And then that's the one rule I have on here. we don't discuss politics, even though it's a free format show. And in case you're wondering who the dog is, this is my dog, Amari. She just turned 3 in March. And she just loves people, loves guests. So she is probably going to be here for the whole remainder of the interview.
Yeah, she gave me a warm welcome when I got here.
She sure did. And she's really taken a strong liking to you. So Susan, you moved out here in 2002. I probably met you shortly after you moved here to San Diego.
Yeah.
When did you start getting into running? That's what I'm curious about.
I started running in, I think it was 2010. I was working at a law firm, and one of the attorneys was, trying to get everybody in the office to do something together. And he suggested running a half marathon. And I was like, yeah, I'm not doing that.
Right.
And he came back several times, asked me, do you want to do it? He's like, I'll train you. And then, other people in the office started oh, I'll do it. And I was like, oh, well, I don't want to be left out. So I started training with him, and I swear, I don't know how he put up with me because I bitched and complained so much. But he's just okay, let's do it. And 3 months later, I ran my first half marathon.
Right on. And how did that feel doing something you've never done anything like that before. I mean, we come from a scene of partying, and I don't know, like, for me, I've done a 5K, and that's back when I used to smoke cigarettes, and that destroyed me. You know what I mean? That was tough. I mean, you could be strong physically, but like if you don't have the cardio, like
it's not gonna work.
Oh yeah, you're gonna be toast.
So so I used to be like going to bed, and now at the time that now I'm waking up so I could go running or run marathons, which is funny. But so the first one I did was AFC, America's Finest City, and it's just crazy. Like, you know, you do it, and I finished, and I didn't know hardly anything about running. You know, when I started, like, I honestly, I didn't even know what the distance of a half marathon was. Like,
Right.
I was just like, oh, okay, like, yeah, I'll run that. And it was like, as soon as I crossed the finish line, I was addicted. Like, I was like, I thought it was like a great feeling, and I was like, I love this. So so then I ran like a couple more like half marathons, and my friend, you know, Jimmy Rock, so he was like, one day he's like, well, I'm running the LA Marathon, and I go, yeah, I go, fuck you. So I signed up, and then that's how I ended up running my first full marathon was because of Jimmy. Like,
that's rad. And I laughed because like the first time she mentioned him, I was a little half in the bag, I'm not gonna lie. She's all, let's go meet up with Jimmy Rock, and I was all, what the fuck is a Jimmy Rock?
You said, I think you called him Jimmy Pebbles, though.
Something like that, yeah. I was like, who is that?
Right.
Sounds like some mafia dude or something. And the guy kind of has that swagger. I mean,
yeah.
For all I know, he's probably Italian. I mean, the guy, big old beard, you know, gaudy ass glasses, fat cigar in his mouth, you know. It was pretty comedy. I mean, the guy definitely lives up to the name, Jimmy Rock.
He does, for sure, yeah.
So that's cool. So he motivated you to do that. And then, I mean, you were just kind of all in at that point, right?
Yeah, so it was 5 months after I ran my first half marathon that I ran my first full marathon. So I'd only been running for 8 months when I ran my first full marathon, which is kind of crazy to think about. But yeah, so I did that, and then I was kind of like on that. I ran a lot of half marathons. Like, right. I was really into that. And another guy who ran with Jimmy and I is his friend Scott Gleason. And Scott lives on the East Coast. So Scott was like, why don't you come and run a marathon in Rhode Island? So then that was like the second one. And for a long time, and then I ran Orange County. So I'd run 3 marathons and a lot of half marathons. And I ran for about 3 years, and like I said, mostly half marathons. And then one day I just stopped. Like, I just stopped signing up for races, like no particular reason. I just
felt like you needed a little bit of a break.
It wasn't even like a conscious thing. Like, I just stopped signing up. So normally, like I have my whole next year ahead of me planned out with races. Like, I know where I'm racing.
Were you at that point back then before you stopped?
I was more like if there was a race, I was running it. Like, anywhere in Southern California, like a half marathon. So yeah, so most of the time I was like planning ahead, maybe not a year, but I was planning ahead to run. And I just, for whatever reason, like I just stopped. And it was 3 years had gone by, and I got really sick, and I couldn't I was like kind of like in my house for a long time, and I didn't have a lot of strength or anything, and like all I was running, and I was like, that's weird. Like, it's something that I only did for 3 years. I took 3 years off, and this is at the forefront of my thoughts, is like, God, I wish I could be running, like how much I liked it, and everything like that. And I was just like, as soon as I get better, like I'm gonna start running again.
Right.
But this time I came back differently. Like this time I was like, I'm not playing the half marathon game. Like I'm going full marathons. I'm going ultra marathons. Like I'm like this time it's goals. Like I'm going for it.
Right.
So, sorry, go
So
ahead.
you took about 3 years off, and then what was it that got you out of that, hiatus and said, I'm gonna get back on the horse and let's do this?
Well, it was like when I got sick, like, and like I was saying, like all I could think about was, running.
Right.
And, I think like honestly, it was like just taking for granted that like the ability to run and be outside and, like it's really good. There's a lot of positive things that come from it. So that was like the main thing to get me going. Like I said, like I came back and I was like, this time I'm going strong. Like I'm going for goals.
Swinging. Like, yeah, I love it. I love it. That's rad. And what year was this?
So it was 2016.
Okay, so about 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, cool. And then I know that you have accomplished that feat of the 7 continents.
Yeah.
Was that something already like in the back of your mind at that point, at that stage of like, your marathon, I mean, was it more of a hobby, or is it something that you just said, you know what, I'm going to go full throttle? I know this isn't like a career I can, thrive off financially, but like, this became a huge part of your life.
Sure, yeah.
Like what gave you the idea to do? I mean, did you start by each continent, or did you say, hey, you know what? I want to do this 7 continent challenge and see if I can finish it off like a bucket list or something?
Well, my first goal when I got better was I was going for an ultra marathon. Like I'm doing an ultra.
Those are gnarly. So for those of you that don't know what an ultra marathon is, what is an ultra marathon?
So it's defined as any distance longer than a marathon. Usually a 50K, 100K, 50 miler, 100 miler, some 250 miles. People are crazy when they do that, but good crazy. So I did a 50K, which was, and so my road to running the 7 continents, though, it was not planned. It was not a goal. Like I didn't even know it was a thing. So how it came about, I had gone to Italy in the mid 2000s, and I loved Rome. And I was like, God, like if I loved Rome, I'd probably love Athens, Greece. So it had been on my mind for that long to go to Athens, Greece. And finally, one day I was just sitting there and I'm like, am I doing this or not? Like, am I going to make it happen? Am I going to go to Greece? And I asked Arno, like, hey, do you want to go to Greece? And he was not interested.
Really? Arno used to be your number one wingman. Like you guys would do all kinds of stuff together.
Well, his idea of vacation was at that time was like, let's go like to a beach somewhere and just get drunk. And I was like, yeah, like we'll go check out Athens and then we'll go party in the Greek islands. And he was not sold on that.
What? How can you not be sold on that? Come on, Arno.
So I was like, shit, like, okay, and I was like, all right, how can I make this happen? So Athens is the birthplace of the marathon. And I was like, I bet you that there's a marathon in Athens. So I Googled it, and sure enough, like this company out of Colorado pops up, and they're like, oh, we take groups to Athens to run the marathon. And I was like, oh, like, so I called them and I was like, hey, like, I'm interested. Can I, get in? And they were like, sure. So that started me, it started my first international race.
Right.
So it wasn't technically planned at that time. So I went to Greece, and it was one of the best experiences I've ever had in my life. Like, it was just, running in the birthplace of the marathon, the birthplace of the Olympic Games, like all that kind of stuff. And not only that, my running idol, who's an Olympian, was part of our tour group.
Oh, cool.
So I was like, oh my God. Like, and he's like, just like me and you, like just sitting here, like talking normal. And it was kind of surreal. So the race starts in like Marathon, Greece, and then it ends in the Olympic Stadium. So it's like
cool.
This, like, it's extremely overwhelming. Like, it's like a very like emotional, like it's, I don't know, it was a really big deal for me.
Right.
And, then I have like my idol, like this Olympian, and
What's his name?
his name is Jeff Galloway.
Okay.
So yeah, most runners know who he is.
Right.
And, well, to back up a little bit, so on the way, like the bus is taking us to the start line of the marathon, right? And he's telling us about how he got into the like Olympic Games, like how he qualified. He got his friend to qualify. And so it's like, that's kind of like in my mind, like previous to like running it. And so he was, like I said, like I finished the race, like in the Olympic Stadium. I'm like, oh my God, this is awesome. So Jeff Galloway's on my bus back to the hotel. And this had been my 4th race in 37 days. So I'd run 2 full marathons, an ultra marathon, and then I ran Greece. And I told him, like, hey, like, this is, my 4th race in 37 days. And he was like, you did that? Like, just so incredibly, like, happy for me. And I'm like, this is, like, what a cool guy. Like, this Olympian, like, is so stoked for me. And he's like, oh, I'm so impressed with, like, your running accomplishments. And I'm like, oh, my God, like, this is awesome. So that it was just incredibly, like, a positive experience. And, everybody on our tour, we took up an entire hotel. So, like, we're all, like, partying in the lobby, like, after the race, like, in the bar and all this stuff. And one of the guys on the tour was like, I think you'd be a good candidate to run all 7 continents.
Oh. So the seed was planted right there and then.
And I kind of was like, me? And I'm like, oh, like, yeah, the seed was planted. But, like, in my head, I was like, no, I just came because I wanted to see Athens. Like, like, it wasn't really registering with me yet. And so, he started talking to me about it. And like you said, so then the seed was planted.
That's rad.
Yeah.
And then, so you did the marathon out in Athens, and where did it take you from there?
So once the seed was planted, I was thinking about it. And so the guy had told me about 7 Continents Club, and he's like, why don't you check it out and join? And so this is probably, I think I joined, the Athens Marathon was in 2018. In 2019, I joined. Like, so I did some research, like, to see what it was all about. And I was like, okay, like, maybe I could do this. And I started thinking about, well, where, like, on each continent, where would I run? Like, where do I want to go? And finally one day I decided, like, okay, like, Tokyo. I want to run the Tokyo Marathon. Okay. And this is now February 2020.
Oh, right before shit got real.
So I applied to run the Tokyo Marathon. Well, I may have been a little bit naive in the sense that, like, Tokyo is one of the biggest marathons in the world. It's called an Abbott World Marathon Major. There's 7 of them. They're extremely difficult to get into. So I'm used to, like, these races, like, oh, I just sign up and go. That's not how it works. Like, so So either you qualify or you put in your name for a lottery.
So it's more competitive.
It's extremely competitive. Like Olympians run it, people that are trying to like to qualify for Boston or like it's a very competitive race. And so I was like, shit.
Yeah, it's a little nerve-wracking, right?
So, and then as I'm trying to figure this out, the world shuts down.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, well, this is not good timing for deciding to run. And then in the meantime, like I'd hit up my friend again and I had asked him, you know, like, well, how does this work? Like, how do I get in? And he was like, well, there's this company called Marathon Tours and Travel. Reach out to them. They can help you. So I reached out to them and they guided me. So they have marathons that they sponsor all over the world. And basically, like, you can buy a guaranteed entry and you can get in to Tokyo, but it's kind of like on their list. So how their list works is like when you became a member of Seven Continents Club is first, and then how many tours you've got done with them.
Right.
So I'm a new member and I haven't done any tours with them. So I'm at the bottom of the totem pole. But I registered like just give it a shot. Well, they told me in 2021 that I got in. And I was like, cool, but the world's still shut down.
Right.
So Tokyo, like Japan was actually really strict during COVID. So it kept going like, we're having the marathon, we're not having the marathon, we're having the marathon, we're not having the marathon. So finally in 2023, they had the marathon. So now I've already run North America, Europe, and I conquered Asia in Tokyo.
Rad.
Okay. So, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, and that was in 2021?
2023 Tokyo.
Or 2023, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you had mentioned in 2021 it was still kind of shut down.
Right.
Yeah, so, I mean, in that amount of time, you've accomplished all the other continents. That's impressive.
Yeah, well, as soon as the world opened up, I was like, I'm going because
It's a one-way ticket around the world.
Because, like, I don't know what's going to happen. You know what I mean? I'm getting this done. So the other thing, too, is Antarctica is hard to get into. So, what do you want to...
I can't imagine. No, I'm still amazed at the fact that, like, Antarctica isn't a place that most people even want a vacation to.
Yeah.
And you go out there to go for a marathon. That's impressive.
Thank you.
That's absolutely impressive. I mean, how cold is it out there when you're running?
It was cold. So, I don't know how cold it was on race day, because I didn't want that in my mind. Like thinking like, oh my God, it's, -10 or whatever, I just was like, it's cold. I know that it's cold. And so to back up a little bit, I applied to go to Antarctica in 2021.
Okay. So you already had that planned.
So yeah, but I didn't run it until 2025.
Well, COVID messed so many things up.
Well, that messed it up. There's a wait list, and because they can only take so many people, we have to go by boat.
Right.
So, there's not a lot of opportunity for people to go. Yeah. So, before we get to Antarctica, and then also in 2023, I ran Cape Town, South Africa.
Rad. Okay.
So now we've got North America, Europe, Asia, and Africa. So I have those done.
Okay.
And then in 2024, I ran Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. So now I have South America.
Rad.
And I found out in 2024 that I got into Antarctica. So now Antarctica.
So all this anticipation over the years, building up, you finally, after this long wait, get to go do it.
I finally get to go.
Yeah.
So there is a lot to running Antarctica. Like your gear, things like that. You have to be like extremely flexible and understand, like, they call it like you're going on an expedition. Like, they can't guarantee anything. Like this, we're going to one of the most desolate places on the earth, and it changes fast. Like, it could be weather fine 1 minute and then horrible like 2 minutes later. Like, you just have to roll with like what's going on. So Antarctica, how it starts is we start in Buenos Aires, make sure everybody gets together, right? And we're there for a couple of days. That means like all your luggage is there. We're going over, making sure everybody has everything that they need. And then we fly to Ushuaia, which is the most southern city in the world. And we get on a boat and we cruise over to Antarctica. So I remember like the morning, like we woke up and we're just in sea ice. Like, we look outside and we're like, oh my God. And I just knew, like it's like you didn't even have to tell me, like I knew where I was. And it's just extremely peaceful and beautiful. Well, they had warned us the day before that there was weather coming, and we actually got to Antarctica 5 hours earlier than we were supposed to. And they said, we have to do the race as soon as we get there to make sure we get it in. So you need to be ready.
Right.
And when we call, like, it's like basically like you go down to a mudroom to get on the Zodiacs, and they take you over to the continent. And they're like, when we call your group, you are to be ready. Everything needs ready to go. So we're all like, oh my God, like, there's like a lot of anticipation. So we got there at 11:30 in the morning. The crew went over, set up the marathon, and I think we were running by noon. I have no idea how they did it. But we're like, okay. So we get there, and usually what they do is like a figure eight. So I believe that it starts at the Argentinian research base station, and then you run to China, back to Argentina, to Uruguay, back to, like an 8, like back to Argentina. Well, because we were pressed on time, they're like, we're only going to have you run to Argentina and China and back. The terrain in Antarctica is muddy, hilly, and rocky.
Oh, brutal.
I figured there was a hill every 1.1 miles. And I'm talking like hill up, down, hill up, down. It's an extremely like hard course. It's cold, it's windy, and you just have to be prepared for it.
And how many people are entered in this marathon?
There's about 100 of us.
Oh, wow.
So they have a 50K, a marathon, and then a half marathon.
I mean, you did the 50K?
I did that. I did the full marathon. No.
Okay.
There was only I think 4 people that did the 50K.
Yeah, that's pretty intense, especially in Antarctica. Yeah.
So part of it is like you have to think about your gear too, like what you're wearing. So this is Southern California. Like, I run in shorts and a tank top.
Right.
When it's cold out, I put on a long sleeve. Like, I don't know what this gear is. So they did give us like a list of things that you need. But here's the trick, is you don't want to be too warm because you sweat and then you get hypothermia, and you don't want to be too cold. So there's like this fine line of like figuring out what works, And not only that, can I move in these layers that I'm wearing?
Oh, yeah.
So that it's a lot to think about. What shoes am I wearing? Like, are my feet going to be warm enough? Like, all this kind of stuff. So with the list that they gave me, like, I figured out what I needed, and I was perfectly fine, running.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a lot of work. It was a lot of research. Like a lot of it, like I went to REI's website and looked at their stuff. And then like if there was a certain brand I was interested in, I emailed the company and I told them like what I was doing and asked them what they suggested I wear.
That's smart.
Yeah, because I don't know.
Well, you got to do your due diligence. I mean, you're going to one of the most, like you said, desolate places on planet Earth. Mm-hmm. And you have this weather that can change any second. And like you said, you got to find this equal medium, like the three bears. It's just got to be like this, I don't want hot, I don't want cold. I want it like right smack in the middle.
Right.
And you're also layered. I mean, there's a lot of dynamics, and things you got to factor going into. It's a lot of preparation, it sounds like.
Yeah. So they also have zero tolerance for, you cannot drop anything, so no waste, like no litter. So like goos or anything like that, we had to put into another container because like if you rip the top off, it might like fly away. So that's into consideration. You're also like, if I wanted to sit down to put on like my running shoes or do something, they put a tarp down. So you can't even sit like on the ground or like anything. We have to wear special boots over and we had to change into our running shoes on the tarp. We ran it before we got back on the boat. We had to change again and then clean our shoes as soon as we got back on the boat because they don't want any cross contamination.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I mean, the rules are like extremely strict, and again, there's zero tolerance. Like either you follow it or you're
no
done.
room for error.
Right.
Yeah.
So, okay, so we finished the race and the sun's starting to go down and I'm like, damn, it's getting cold. Like I need to finish this race and get back on the boat. So I'm fine, like all that, we're all good. And we're hanging out, the next day in Antarctica. We're going on expeditions and all this. And the captain says, we need to have a meeting and address us all. And this very stoic Greek man comes in and addresses us, and you could tell, like, this is not a conversation he is wanting to have. And basically, there is this huge ass storm coming towards us, and we need to get the hell out of there. So we had to turn around and come back. And basically, we were outrunning a cyclone. There's different, people say different how high these waves were, but pretty much anywhere from 30 to 50 foot waves that we were like going through for almost 2 days. I mean, it was...
Oh my
yeah.
God.
So...
I mean, it could have totally capsized the boat. Yeah,
they have like stabilizers on the boat, but I mean... to walk, you would literally be trying to walk and get thrown to one side, thrown to the other. Like trying to take a shower, like I'm having to hold on, like, because they have like handrails in there so you can hold on, and I'm like, whoa.
It's like the ultimate test of your sea legs right there. I bet people were puking.
Yeah. The one day, like 80% of the ship
was seasick.
Oh yeah, like I got up and I go, where is everyone? Like people were sick. There were times like I was sleeping and I literally woke up like midair because the waves had like knocked me out of my bed, and I was like, whoa, like what's going on? It was pretty crazy. Like, yeah. So that was Antarctica.
That's rad. Well, how epic is that? Okay, all right. So you accomplished that feat.
Yeah.
So where are we on how many continents?
So this is Antarctica was number 6.
Number 6.
Yes.
Okay, so we've covered every continent now. If you cross up number 6, I mean, the anticipation of getting to number 7, I bet was just like the most amazing yet nerve-wracking feeling for you.
Yes. So, so for my final continent, I wanted to run Sydney, Australia. And Sydney had just become, to go back, it was also the 30th anniversary of running Antarctica. So they had...
When they started doing the marathons
Yeah.
and races there? Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah, so that was 30 years.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
That's a historic moment, too.
I think so.
Just like when I, went to Memphis in 70 years,
Sons too.
when Elvis got his start, and I recorded a song he did there, like when he first started out in 1954, so that was pretty cool.
I know Sun Studio, Sun Records.
Yeah. So that I mean, just like apples and oranges. I mean, but that like you during COVID, I had to wait out that storm, to get to the point of where I could finally start planning out this trip and those dynamics. I mean, trying to get a bunch of musicians to commit to a trip, when you're not a signed band and someone else is paying the bill, it's not easy to plan, but we made it happen.
Well, it sounds like it worked out too. If it was the 70th anniversary, like that's like iconic.
It was just purely by accident that we I didn't even realize it until I sat there and I started doing the math when I was like researching what song I was going to do. And, I mean, just like you, I put my mind, to it. In 2019, COVID was like torture, trying to wait it out. I'm sure you can relate. And then, we made it happen, and it's like one of those bucket list things. It's just like, for you, like crossing off like number 6, I can only imagine like what was going through your mind when you got back home and you're like, it's on now. Like, we're gonna do the 7th continent and we're gonna own it. So like, where did you go? Like, what did you do?
So I decided on Sydney, Australia, and Sydney had just become an Abbott World Marathon major. Okay. So like Tokyo, it's now another major, which means it's hard to get into.
Okay.
So same thing. I went through marathon travel and tours, and I was like, I want to, run this race. So I got accepted actually pretty early on to run it, and so I was just like, this is huge. Like, ready. Like, this is probably like the biggest moment of my life, and one is I wanted someone to be there. Like, it was important for me to have like someone to experience the moment with. And so I asked my niece if she wanted to go. So that was like really special. And hence it also got her started into running.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
So I'm happy about that. So they had a 5K the day before the marathon. So we both ran the 5K together, and that was, that was nice. Like a big deal, a race for her, and I'm happy that she got into running. So I had my niece there. The other thing too is now I have all these friends that I've collected from running races all over the world, and a lot of us were in Sydney together, and like 2 of my girlfriends, like we ended up getting our 7 continents together. And ironically, like I said, there's Abbott World Marathons, there's 7 stars. They got their 7 stars too. So this like Sydney was like a really, like it was the best place for me to finish. It was, cool.
That's rad. Yeah, I bet. I've always wanted to go to Australia, especially since, seeing Mad Max when I was a kid. I know it's cliche as all hell to say, but yeah, that's so cool that you were able to finish it there.
Yeah.
And when did you do this?
August 31st, 2025.
Right on.
Yeah.
Okay. And how long were you out there for?
I was there for a while. So Sydney is an unbelievably gorgeous city. It's really nice. And up until the marathon, like it's kind of stressful. Like, I'm very focused on the race and doing things. But we did some sightseeing prior to, but most of everything we did was after. And then we flew up to the Great Barrier Reef after, and ironically, one of my friends lives there.
Oh, cool.
so it was cool. And then I had, I think like 2 other friends that were there as well. So it was cool to like hang out with them as well. Like, you know, I mean, like, what are the odds? Like, oh, I'm going to the Great Barrier Reef. Oh,
Yeah.
I live there. Oh, we'll be there too, you know?
Celebrate. Yeah, that you accomplished such a huge feat like that, you know?
Yeah.
7 continents in how many years?
It started at, let's say, 2018.
Okay.
Yeah.
About 7 years. 7 continents
Oh
in
my
7
God.
years.
I didn't even realize that.
That's incredible. That's even cooler.
That is. I didn't even realize. Yeah.
You
Love
should
it.
make a shirt. I did 7 continents in 7 years. Yeah. I mean, I don't know anyone that's done anything like that. And that's cool too, you know, that you got to meet like your running idol, you know, Olympian. Was that the only encounter that you had with him that you were telling me about earlier?
Yeah, that's the only time I've
Yeah.
ever met him. Yeah.
How old is he?
He passed away this year.
Yeah, I remember you telling me that, like, but
I think he was like in his 70s.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or no, you posted something about it. That's what it
Yeah,
was. I saw
I
that.
did.
Yeah, and that's always sad, like when your heroes pass away. At least you got to meet them.
Yeah.
You know? And not only that, you got complimented. You know?
That's so awesome.
Yeah. I mean, that's the most gratifying feeling, you know, like when someone you look up to, like, compliments you and it's like, you're the future. You know?
Yeah, or is excited for you.
Yeah,
You
and
know?
you're not even a spring chicken. I mean, you got into marathon running a little later in life.
I did.
You know,
Well,
and that's inspirational alone right there. And the fact that you were able to accomplish all of this at, you know, such a later part of your life. You know, I mean, you see athletes that have accomplished stuff like that before. You know,
Yeah.
it just goes to show you never know. You know, it's never too late in life. You know?
No, one of the guys, my friend that I met through running, he started running at 60. He's 70 now. He's run over 100 marathons, and he's qualified for Boston, like 98 of them.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
That's absolutely incredible. I watched this documentary. It was just random. I was after like a Super Bowl party. We were just like, you know, all buzzed up at my buddy's house, and we're like, oh, let's pick something to watch, you know, on the streaming channel or whatever. And this girl that was there randomly picked this documentary about this historic rock climber that, like, you know, like it was like a free solo climber.
Yeah.
I can't remember the guy's name off the top of my head, but the guy, like, you know, wrote like charts for a lot of these mountains that had never been tamed before.
Jeez.
And the guy, you know, climbed up until I think he died at like 91 or something like that. And was literally like climbing until, like, you know, his body just basically gave out.
Yeah.
And, you know, I watched that, you know, like,
That's
we watched about half of it at the party, and I was so into it and invested in it at that point. You know, not everyone was like paying attention, but I was like, this is like fascinating to me. I was like, and the guy was like funny, witty, stubborn, you know, like kind of reminded me a little bit of myself. I was like, I'm probably going to be like this old guy right here, just hopefully not you know, as like alone in life, you know what I mean? But like climbing was his passion, was his love, true love, one true love, you know? And I think that was like something that was mentioned in this documentary, but it just goes to show you, like, when you find something that, you know, really resonates with your heart and your soul, don't be afraid to like explore that and go all in, you know, if it's something that means that much to you. Like, music has been my life, you know what I mean?
Yes.
My world. And, you know, now, you know, I've transitioned into a career in health and wellness, and I love doing that. But, you know, I still moonlight as a musician. I do some things on the side still. I'm able to, you know, creatively and artistically still do things like this show. I mean, the show is kind of just started because, you know, like the whole documentary I'm doing with George, you know, that's, you know, I asked him if he's ever done an interview or a podcast before, and he's like, no. I was like, okay. I was like, let me bang out one interview, just, you know, get my chops, ready. And I did an interview with one of my friends who had battled, cancer twice in his life, and found like spirituality and yoga, and it was a really inspirational story, and that's what gave me the whole idea. I was like, you know what, I want to like bring guests on here that just talk about their lives and like the things that have impacted them and strong meaning. Like I've had a guest on here that I met at at a convention. I went to WonderCon, which is like the smaller version of Comic-Con in Anaheim, and this is such a random story. And I'm sitting in the food court and I hear Elvis Presley playing, and it's not like music over the speakers. I'm like, someone's singing their little heart out behind me. I turn around and lo and behold, it's this little like Filipino kid, the pompadour, and he looks like he just, walked out of like some cosplay event trying to be like Guardians of the Galaxy, like Star-Lord or something, right?
Right.
And he's got this semi-hollow body electric guitar, and he's strumming and singing, and he had a couple of people like watching him. So I just turned around after I ordered the food, and I just sat there, and I was like, wow, this guy's singing his heart out. And I was like, hey, do you mind if I film you? And he kind of like nodded. So I started filming him, and I started talking to him, and I was like, oh my God, I have to have you on my podcast show. And he was so stoked on it. Turns out that this guy is autistic, and Elvis Presley, has helped save his life. Wow. And made such a huge impact. And he's significantly younger than me. He was like in his 20s. And this is just to show you like his age. I was like, how'd you learn about Elvis? He's like Lilo and Stitch.
Oh my God.
Yeah, a Disney movie is how people are getting introduced to the artists like Johnny Cash and Elvis Presley or Chuck Berry or something,
I mean, that's cool.
And that's cool. I'm not a big fan of how they're like trying to thematically, remix the classics into these movie scores.
Oh, I hear
like
you.
that whole trend is getting really played out, in my opinion. I'm more of a fan of like the true composers, the Hans Zimmers and the James Horners and the John Williams. Even like Trent Reznor from Nine Inch Nails, the work he does, or like look at Daft Punk, what they did with the Tron Legacy soundtrack. I just think it's a lot more creative in that whole aspect. But yeah. Anyways, going back to you and your whole marathon career. I mean, to accomplish 7 continents in 7 years. I know you kind of been showing a little bit, but what's on the docket? Like, what do you have planned now? Do you want to continue running more like big marathons, or just do some smaller stuff for fun? Do you want to get into like coaching, some kind of mentorship role, work on some of these committees or organizations that you've been involved with? What are you thinking right now?
I didn't think about that, but actually I would love to do that. But so my new goal is kind of, so I said we came back from Antarctica early, and we're now in Ushuaia, right? And they're kind of like, well, what are we going to do with everybody? And I mean, Ushuaia is absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous place. It's a cool little town. And, we have a lot of people obviously in the race industry and things like that. And someone says, oh, there's a UTMB race, which is these really difficult trail running races. There's a World Series event going on in Ushuaia when we get back. Like, if someone's interested, we could probably, get them to run it. And I'm pretty sure they were like anticipating like 5 people. Every single person signed up.
Wow.
So, we're now like in the foothills of like the Andes Mountains and stuff. And we do this race. And I mean, it is uphill, 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 uphill. Like, this is, UTMB is uphill, rocky, muddy, extremely challenging, like what do you have in you? Because it's like, if you don't have it, it's going to break you. Like, you have to be able to do it. So the ultimate UTMB race is in France.
Okay.
And you have to earn it to get there. So you qualify, or you can collect stones. And depending on like what race you do, the mileage, you collect certain stones.
Oh, that's fun. Challenging.
Right? And you can turn these stones in at the end of the year to enter your name for a drawing to get accepted to race in France.
Okay.
So this is now my new goal.
So how are you going to, what's your strategy? Like, how are you going to go about it? Are you going to collect the stones, or are you going to qualify?
I will not qualify. Well, I mean, we're talking like extreme elite athletes.
So out of everything that you've done leading up to this, like, this is probably the most challenging?
Yeah. I mean, it's
Wow.
It's extremely like difficult. So like a lot of times, like you'll see me post like, oh, running hills, like up in Tecolote Canyon.
And those are some gnarly hills.
And I mean, I will just go up and down and up and down. And because it's the same thing, like you have to be able to get up, but you have to be able to get down fast too. And, like have proper footing and things like that. So I ran my first UTMB race, I think it was 3 weeks ago now. And I did a lot better than I thought that I would. Like, I had an hour to spare. And I was like nervous I wouldn't make the cutoff time. I was like, oh, damn. Like, all my Tecolote Canyon illustrating paid off. So I talked to my niece the other day, and she wants to come out, and we're going to go to Big Bear, and I'm going to run a UTMB race in Big Bear. And then I have another one in November that I'm going to run. So I'll have 4 stones at that point. And then in December, I'm going to put them in the lottery, and fingers crossed I get into France.
Okay. And in order to get these stones, are they like narrowed down to only like certain races, or?
Yeah. So usually like the distance that you run depends on how many stones you get.
Okay.
And if you run a World Series event, you get double the stones.
Okay.
So that's it. And I'm assuming like the World Series are probably harder than the other ones, but they're all hard.
I mean, with a title like that, I would sure hope so. Same baseball, people. We're not talking about baseball. So that's interesting. I mean, I never thought I'd sit down and learn so much about marathon running, but here we are. Yeah. When it comes to like footwear, like what is your branded choice and why?
So I was an Asics girl for many years. Like I was like, I only wear Asics. I'm not wearing anything else. And I think like your feet, like how your body changes, like things just change. And one day I was just like, I can't wear these anymore. Like they're not working. I went to New Balance. Those worked for like a short period of time. And so like we talked earlier, like I got plantar fasciitis. Like it's extremely painful. So currently I'm running in hookahs, and then I do a lot of like walking too. So my walking shoes are Brooks. And then the only trail running shoes that I'll wear are Hoka Speed Goats. So that's where I'm at now.
Right on.
It's like
Have you ever been to Roadrunner Sports and done the whole, they have that machine that analyzes like, how you walk, and you go on the treadmill?
Yes, I've done that.
What do you think about that?
Well, and Fleet Feet has something similar to, I don't know. Like, I don't know if it's a gimmick or like if it actually works. Like,
fence a little bit. I feel like it depends on the shoe you put it in too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And also too, so I'm like kind of like, I like natural. so like your feet are they're gonna wear your shoes like how they wear them. And I think like if you like do too much like correction, like it kind of messes with your brain. Like people that, tape, like put all kinds of like tape on their legs before they run, or braces and things like that. Like I think it kind of messes with your brain, like, oh, I have a problem here. So then it fixates on it, where I'm just like just accept it is what it is. And, and your body will heal itself.
Yeah, I had to have a foot brace for the plantar fasciitis that I, had last year. And it kind of messed with my psyche a little bit.
Yeah.
I put some rock tape on there. I even had to like buy like a foot bath. I never thought in my life I'd buy a freaking foot bath. But it's a nice little collapsible one. Actually, I got the remote for it right here. And look at the name of the company.
Medical King. The king for the king.
Throw some Epsom salt in there and you're good to go. So yeah, I can relate on how it feels to have plantar fasciitis. It is not a fun thing to experience. I've done everything from rolling a ball on the bottom of my foot, seeing a chiropractor, stretch and mobility coach, buying cherries for like 2 months in a row, eating all kinds of different berries because those are pretty good, taking, natural muscle relaxers. It makes you really evaluate how much you appreciate being able to walk. There was a point where I thought I was going to have to use a cane, and I was limping around for like a good couple weeks. And
it's painful.
Yeah. People at work were like, well, are you faking it? Because they know I'm a wise ass and a practical joker. I was like, no, I am not faking this. Like, this is not fun. And it was only on my left foot too. Now, and that was like back in like a year ago. Now I'm finally just getting back into the swing of things, getting back in the gym again. I don't have the metabolism I used to when I was younger.
None of us do.
So, it's been a journey, but my mobility and stretch therapist, Steve Ruiz, a shout out to him, Steve Ruiz. I've been very loyal to him for the last going on 4 years. I met him at the boxing club. He was in charge of the recovery program at Solana Beach. And, once he told me he did house calls, I was like, let's do it. And I loved it so much. I went out and bought a massage table.
Nice.
And yeah, that's what that is in the corner over there.
Oh, I see it, yeah.
Yeah, and at work, I have this really incredible high frequency vibration massage gun called Rapid Release. And it has all the different massage tips like built in, including like a really wide face. So I bring that home and I have him, work on me, and like religiously, like every week. Like I'm very diligent. We're not in our 20s anymore, and the recovery process takes a lot longer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's just I look at all of our friends that are falling like flies. You know what I mean? And it's just it's a sad state of affair. Like like Hopper.
I was just going to say, I was thinking that
massive heart attack. He was never really in the best shape. And I was kind of like, feared that certain people, if they don't start getting their act together, they're going to start develop, chronic health problems. And I don't know anything about his medical health history and whatnot. But, a sudden heart attack can just hit you out of anywhere. And that's why you really got to mindfully practice, like, taking time for yourself, daily well-being. You could be in tip-top shape too, but if you're putting too much physical and mental stress on yourself, like, it's gonna raise your blood pressure, and eventually you're just gonna, like keel over. And I don't wish that upon anybody. So, losing Hopper was another tragic loss, and especially, for all of us that know him through the music scene. And this episode goes out to him, dedicated to Richard, aka Hopper. What's his last name?
I just know him as Hopper.
Admonson. Yeah, I hadn't seen him in years since he moved out of San Diego. And that also makes it a lot harder when you lose somebody. But, it's interesting looking at like health as a trend now more than it was when, we were in our 20s. You see all these, fit and health-centric, a lot of them self-proclaimed health influencers. And, I got to give it to them. You're going out there trying to spread all this good. But, we got too many Google Docs out there and people buying into like what other doctors and people with credentials past their name are putting on there. You got to do your own due diligence too and not just believe everything you see and hear.
It's trendy.
It's so trendy, but I love that fact. I mean, I feel less people are smoking cigarettes than ever, especially post COVID. Like I finally overcame that. It took me forever. This August will be 6 years.
Oh, congratulations!
Completely nicotine free. Occasionally, I like to smoke some weed. Mostly vapes and whatnot. I'm a social drinker. I don't even go out that much like I used to. I don't hit shows as much as I used to. Yeah. I mean, for me, it's not a part of age. It's just a part of I've done so much and maybe I am a little jaded, you know what I mean? But I'm always on the hunt for the next.
You've had a lot of good times.
A lot of good times. A lot of good times. But I'm always on the hunt for the next thrill. It doesn't always have to be like high energy, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And one thing working in this profession that I've learned is, you're dealing with sick people all the time. And your job as a health coach is to, kick them in the ass and figure out like, I just did a body composition test on you. These are the areas that you need to improve on. How's your diet? Do you have anything that could be a food sensitivity? Are you deficient in any vitamins or minerals? Do you have any, toxins in your body, heavy metals? Like we do all kinds of elaborate testing. Mm-hmm. And it's cool because it's like very personalized concierge healthcare.
Oh yeah, I like that.
So it's taught me how to take better care of myself. And the way my metabolism is, like if I'm not actively exercising along with balancing, a somewhat proper diet, like it goes all right here, and I'll start looking like a chipmunk or something, or a guinea pig. Like I can fill out fast, and it sucks. I don't have it. My metabolism, like that I had in my 20s, really came to like almost like a standstill in my early to mid 30s. Yeah. So now I'm a huge advocate for just like last year I was posting a lot of videos. Get outside and go for a walk. Because I know a lot of people that used to be like skinny as a rail that are bigger now. And I'm just like, look. All you got to do is just go outside and like go for a walk, even if it's on a street, whatever. Go walk for 30, 40 minutes every day. Try to get in like 2 if you can. But, I tell people to do it before they start their day. And it is so grounding at the same time. And it's one of the most underrated forms of exercise.
Yeah. Yeah, that's actually the best thing. If you wake up and go for a walk, like that's like really good for you. Yeah. Or do some kind of cardio. And
you feel so like ready for the day when you're done too. You clear your mind. It just activates all the right neurons in your brain. And thankfully with this one, I have to go for walks.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah. So it's more motivating in that sense. With all this little puppy energy here that Amari has. But yeah, is there anything else that you want to share about what you have coming up or what you've done, before we wrap it up here?
I think like one of the biggest things is it's like for people like also like overcome fear. Like it's like all setbacks are in your mind. Like, like it is intimidating, for me even to, run the Tokyo Marathon. Like I I literally almost had like a panic attack. Like what am I doing here? Like, I'm not like good enough. Like, I'm with all these like great athletes, and you know, and that was me putting that in my head. Like, no one said that to me. No one thought that except for me. And you know, I messaged one of my friends and I was like, I'm freaking out like so bad right now. And he said, you earned your spot there like everyone else. And I was fine. And, you know, I've run so many races, and it's easy to like not do something. It's easy to give into the fear. And you know, if anything, for anyone, just don't do it. Like, get rid of the excuses. Like, you know, to me, excuses just soften the failure. Like, just go for it. Just do it. Like, get out of your head. Like, don't give in to the fear. Like, think like something positive. Like, you know, like how my friend taught me. Like, you know, like I was being absolutely ridiculous, and just go for it. Just try for it. Like, just get excited. Like, don't be scared. Like, be like, like, let's go, you know? Like,
Right.
kind of like that thing. So I guess, like, that's, you know, for people that was like, I can't do that, just try it. Just see what happens. And the other thing is consistency. Like, to be successful, you have to be consistent. And
100%.
this is, and like, those two things, like, don't give in to the fear and be consistent, and you'll be successful at what you put your mind into.
Right on. Cool. I always have every guest that comes on the show, and you kind of did it somewhat, but share, like, if someone wanted to get into, you know, running, I always have every guest, you know, they have something that they're known for, or that they do, whether it's a career or hobby. If someone wanted to get into marathon running, what would be your best advice of like how to start and how to go about it?
Sign up for a race. That's number one.
Like a 5K, something simple?
Well,
or?
I mean, my first race was a half, but I guess whatever they're comfortable with, but go for a marathon, your first one, you know. But I say sign up for a race because you've now committed. Like, you've taken this step. Like, you've looked into what race you want to do, and you have a date. So the first thing is you pick a race and you sign up. And then, so the number one goal is to finish that race, right? So now you're on day one. What are you going to do, like, to help you run that race? Like you give yourself like little goals and challenges to do the ultimate one. So, okay, how am I going to run the race? Well, I need to learn how to run. So then you start getting out there. Like, there's so many like apps now and stuff like people can use, but like my first thing would be like, go for a run, see how far you can run. Like, start there, start walking or like whatever it is. And then, you know, you'll continue to build up your mileage. And like, my rule of thumb is, so when I train for a marathon, I can run 8 to 10 miles. Like, say I haven't been running for a month. I can get out there and run 8 to 10 miles. So let's just say like my first long run will be an 8-mile run. The next week I run 2 miles. So I add, or 10 miles, sorry. So I add 2 miles, then 12, then 14. And basically like you build up to 20 miles, and you'll run 20 miles 4 weeks before the actual race.
Okay.
That's the longest that you run. And then what I do is, then I do reversed. So I do 20, and then I go down by 4. So then I do 16, and then 12.
Leading up to the race.
Right. So
Yeah.
it's called tapering. So you peak, and that 20 miles is the most important one. So you build up to that, and then you taper until race day.
Okay.
But most apps or anything you find online would tell you the same thing. But the first thing is, if you're serious and you want to do it, pick a race and sign up.
Okay.
And then figure out how to do it.
As far as shoes, like if someone wanted to get into running or racing, Like, what is a good store, like a brand that you would just, universally recommend to anybody?
Fleet Feet, if they have them in your area. I tend to really like that store. Or I'm a big fan of like support small businesses. Like if you have a small mom and pop shop, that's always cool too. I would assume if someone owns like a small mom and pop running store, they're probably pretty passionate about running, so they could put you in the right direction. And I would say like hookahs, if those work for you, they're expensive, but your first pair of running shoes, like you'll like, people will figure out what they like and what they don't like. And usually at the store they can suggest like what they think is best too, depending on like how you walk, or
Right.
they have all that, like, are you pronate, or I don't even know what half of it means. I'm just like,
You're obviously not a podiatrist.
no, I'm like, I don't know.
No, I hear you. That's great. Yeah. And then online, social media, are there any groups you recommend people, follow or sign up to be a part of to stay in the mix?
Like whatever's like in your area, like in your community, like there's an OB like run club in Ocean Beach, obviously. I'm part of like Abbott World Marathon, but there's Runners World that are like on a bigger scale. So just whatever's like in your community, I would suggest.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you got anything else you want to say before we say goodbye?
No, like, thank you for having me. Like,
My pleasure. So that's another episode for the King's Couch. My lovely guest, Susan Brill. 7 continents in 7 years. That's absolutely incredible.
Yeah, thank you.
If that's not inspiring, I don't know what is. All right, we'll see you next time. And make sure you tune in to see who's going to be my next guest coming up. All right, see you guys later.
The King of Kings. There is only one.